They were considered alpha until humans obliterated them from reality. The galaxy had always been ruled by the alpha species. They were strong, fast, and clever. Every planet they touched bent to their will. Their ships filled the skies like a dark storm. No one dared to fight them. Entire civilizations gave up before the first shot was fired. The alpha species believed they were untouchable. They had been called the apex of evolution, the rulers of everything that lived in space. Their name alone could make a world tremble. Far away on a small blue and green planet, humans lived quietly, mostly unaware of the larger galaxy. Their technology was primitive compared to the alpha species. Their ships were slower, their weapons weaker, and their fleets smaller. Still, humans had something the alpha species did not understand: stubbornness, imagination, and the refusal to accept defeat. In the command center of the Alpha Fleet, Commander Zorak looked over the stars. The room was filled with glowing screens and strange alien symbols that no human could read. Zorak's eyes were sharp, scanning every movement of the fleet. He prided himself on being perfect. No mistake could be tolerated. To him, humans were like ants, curious, fragile, and amusing. "Report," Zorak said to his second-in-command, a tall alien named Vexil. "All scouting reports are in, Commander," Vexil replied. "The humans have a small fleet near the edge of this system. They are slow and poorly organized. If we strike, it will be easy." Zorak's mandibles clicked in approval. "Then prepare the fleet. We will show them what it means to face the alpha species." Meanwhile, in a small human colony called New Hope, life went on peacefully. Children ran through fields of green under a soft yellow sun. Farmers tended to their crops, unaware that the Alpha Fleet was already moving toward them at incredible speed. Among the humans, Captain Jack Harris checked the defenses of the colony's small spaceport. Jack was not the strongest or the fastest, but he had sharp eyes and a quick mind. "We need to make sure the shields are ready," he said to his crew. "Even if they think we are weak, we cannot underestimate them. Keep every channel open and monitor all signals." His crew nodded. They were scared, but they trusted Jack. He had saved them before in smaller conflicts, and his calm words always made people feel safer. One of his officers, a young pilot named Megan Clark, looked up from the radar. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," Megan said. "A huge fleet is moving fast. It's unlike anything I've ever seen." Jack squinted at the screen. The dots on the radar were growing larger by the second. "How many ships?" he asked. "Too many to count. They're surrounding the system." Jack swallowed hard. He knew this was not going to be a normal fight. "Prepare the evacuation plan, get civilians into the shelters, and keep the fighters ready." Back in the Alpha Command Center, Zorak watched the human signals with mild amusement. "They have noticed us," he said. "Pathetic. They cannot hope to survive." Vexil tilted his head. "Commander, should we warn them, give them a chance to surrender?" Zorak clicked his mandibles again, a sound that signaled anger to some but calm to others. "No, let them see the power of the Alpha species. Let them feel the fear that has destroyed so many others before them. Only then will they understand their place." The humans worked quickly. Jack and Megan coordinated with engineers and soldiers. Every ship, every defense turret, every energy shield was checked. They had no way to know if it would be enough. They could only hope that their small fleet, with human ingenuity and courage, could survive the coming storm. Then it began. The Alpha Fleet entered the human system with a roar. Their ships were massive, black as night, with jagged edges that reflected the sunlight in 1,000 points. The humans had never seen anything like it. It was not just the size of the ships, but the feeling that they carried with them, a presence that seemed to suck the hope from the air. Jack's hands tightened on the control panel. "Everyone brace for impact. Follow the plan. Don't panic." The first Alpha ships fired. Energy beams lanced across space, striking human satellites and communication arrays. Explosions lit the darkness, shaking the small colony. Buildings shuddered under the force, and alarms rang across New Hope. Megan and her squad of pilots took to the sky. Their ships were smaller, slower, but highly maneuverable. They darted between debris and shots, trying to find weak points in the Alpha formation. "We can't let them hit the core," Megan shouted over the comms. "Focus fire on the lead ships." On the bridge of the Alpha flagship, Zorak watched with interest. "They fight back," he said. "How strange." Vexil looked concerned. "Commander, these humans, they are not fleeing, they are not surrendering, they are organized even under fire." Zorak's eyes narrowed. "Curious." They are supposed to be weak. They are supposed to be insignificant. Keep attacking. Let's see if they can break before we destroy them. But the humans were not like the other species Zorak had encountered. Their weapons may have been weaker, but their strategies were unpredictable. One human ship would draw attention, then vanish, only to reappear somewhere else, striking another Alpha vessel. They used what Zorak could only call imagination against him, and it worked in small, surprising ways. Jack Harris knew they would not win by strength. "We fight smart," he said. "Every move must be clever. If we survive this day, we survive as a species. Remember that." Megan nodded. She led a daring attack on the Alpha flagship, weaving between massive beams and avoiding collisions with debris. Somehow, human ships kept surviving, even as Alpha vessels fell around them. Jack watched in disbelief. "They are holding how?" It was not luck. It was not miracles. It was human determination, courage, and teamwork. Every person in the colony was contributing, from the engineers repairing shields to the pilots dodging fire. They refused to accept that the Alpha species was unbeatable. Zorak felt frustration for the first time. The Alpha species had never failed. No fleet had ever survived against them. Yet these humans, small and seemingly weak, were surviving. Worse, they were adapting. Every tactic Zorak used was countered in ways he had not expected. Hours passed and the battle continued. Explosions filled the space above New Hope, casting strange lights across the planet. Smoke rose from the cities, but humans continued their fight. Jack and Megan worked without pause, giving orders, coordinating attacks, and ensuring civilians stayed safe. By nightfall, the Alpha fleet had not broken the humans. Instead, they began to see the cracks in their own power. Ships that should have been invincible were destroyed by unpredictable attacks. The humans seemed to grow stronger with every loss. Where Zorak expected fear, he saw determination. Where he expected surrender, he saw planning and hope. "Commander," Vexil said, his voice low. "We have underestimated them. These humans, they are not like the others." Zorak stared at the stars, his mandibles clicking slowly. "They are different, but difference is not enough to survive. We will finish this tomorrow. We will crush them." But the humans were not afraid. On New Hope, Jack Harris looked at the night sky dotted with Alpha ships. "We will not give up," he said. "We will survive, we will protect our home, and we will fight." In the darkness of space, a small human ship dodged a massive beam, weaving skillfully through destruction. Megan Clark smiled. "We can do this," she whispered to herself. Unknown to both sides, the battle that began today would not end with a simple victory. This fight would change the galaxy forever. Humans were about to show the Alpha species something they had never seen before: courage, strategy, and the will to survive against impossible odds. And for the first time in the history of the galaxy, the Alpha species felt something new: doubt. The first day of the battle ended, but neither side rested. Humans repaired, regrouped, and planned. The Alpha species tried to maintain their pride and control, but cracks had begun to show. The unstoppable force of the galaxy had met something it could not easily crush. Jack Harris looked at the stars again, thinking of the people below, the ones counting on him. He did not know if they would survive the next attack, but he knew one thing: humans did not give up. Not ever. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough to turn the tide. The battle over New Hope had not ended. Darkness hung over the planet like a heavy blanket, but the humans refused to stop. Even as the Alpha fleet circled the system, firing and destroying, the small human colony worked tirelessly to repair and rebuild. Every explosion, every flash of light from space, only made them stronger. Jack Harris stood on the command deck of the colony's main ship. His eyes were red from hours of watching the battle, but he did not rest. "We cannot let them destroy our communications," he said to his crew. "If we lose contact with the civilians, we lose everything. Keep the shields up. Keep every channel open." Megan Clark ran beside him, her small ship docked and ready for the next sortie. "Captain, the Alpha fleet is regrouping," she said. "They are stronger than before. They've repaired some ships overnight." Jack nodded. "I know, but we have learned something too. We saw their weaknesses today. They are fast, but they are predictable. They rely on fear, not intelligence. That is where we will strike." The humans had spent the night studying every movement of the Alpha ships. Engineers like Kevin Ross and scientists like Linda Morrow had mapped patterns in the Alpha attacks. Even small mistakes the Alpha commanders thought were invisible became clues for humans. Each clue gave them new ways to defend and fight back. By morning, Jack called a meeting with all the human leaders. Megan, Kevin, Linda, and other officers crowded into the command room. On the holomap, dots showed the positions of the Alpha fleet. They were larger than ever, stretching across the entire system. "This is it," Jack said. "If we want to survive, we cannot just defend, we have to fight smart. We will hit their command ships first, confuse them, make them doubt their own strategy. Once they hesitate, we can control the rest of the battle." Megan's eyes brightened. "We can do this. We've already survived once. Now we make them fear us." Kevin adjusted his glasses, looking at the schematics of human ships. "We can modify the weapons overnight. Even small energy pulses can scramble their sensors. They will not see us coming." Linda nodded. "And our shields can be strengthened at weak points. The Alpha ships think their weapons are unstoppable, but we know where to block them. If we work together, we can turn the tide." For the first time, a sense of hope spread through the human leaders. They were scared, yes, but for the first time they believed in their plan, not just to survive, but to fight back. The first attack of the day began as the sun rose. Human ships launched from hidden hangars, small and fast, like shadows in the brightening sky. The Alpha fleet saw them and, true to form, opened fire immediately. Beams of energy cut through space, destroying small human fighters, but most ships disappeared before they could be hit. Megan led one of these attacks. She zipped past a massive Alpha destroyer, firing tiny but precise shots at its sensors. Sparks flew across its hull, and the massive ship staggered in space as systems went offline. Another human pilot, Jake Simmons, followed Megan's lead, hitting another Alpha ship in a critical point. The Alpha species had never experienced attacks like this before. On the Alpha flagship, Commander Zorak roared in frustration. "What is happening? Why are they still fighting? Why are they so clever?" Vexel tried to calm him. "Commander, their tactics are unusual. They are using our patterns against us. Each time we attack, they learn and respond in ways we did not anticipate." Zorak's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. No species has ever done this. Every race we faced fell before us without thought. They run, they hide, they surrender. Humans fight." Meanwhile, in orbit around New Hope, humans continued their attacks. Small ships moved in unpredictable paths, disappearing and reappearing. Energy pulses disrupted Alpha sensors, making huge vessels blind in the midst of battle. Engineers worked frantically to repair damage from previous strikes, while scientists monitored weaknesses in the Alpha fleet. Jack Harris looked at the reports coming in. "They think their ships are invincible," he said, "but they are not. Every time we strike, we learn more. Every time we survive, they grow weaker. Keep pushing." Megan grinned as she piloted her ship through another Alpha squadron. She fired at weak points she had never seen before, based on information received just moments earlier. One by one, Alpha ships went offline, their energy cores failing. Their pilots were stunned, unable to understand what was happening. The humans did not celebrate their small victories. Every pilot who survived a mission returned quickly, repaired, and went back to fight again. Fear did not drive them, strategy did. Courage did not come from strength, but from the belief that they could change the outcome with their actions. On the Alpha flagship, the mood was growing tense. Zorak paced the bridge. His species had never failed to dominate. Entire systems had surrendered before a single shot, and now humans were resisting, adapting, and surviving. Each lost ship made the Alpha fleet lose confidence, something they had never felt before. "Commander," Vexel said quietly, "they are not just surviving. They are attacking the weak points we never thought vulnerable. Our sensors cannot keep up with their movement. It is alarming." Zorak's mandibles clicked sharply. "Then we adjust. We will use overwhelming force, crush them completely, no mercy." But overwhelming force did not work. The humans anticipated every move, using their knowledge and creativity. Jack and his team had studied every type of attack the Alphas had used the day before. They learned, adapted, and struck with precision. Each Alpha ship that fell caused panic among the remaining vessels. For the first time, human ingenuity truly shone. Kevin Ross had modified the weapons to send false signals across Alpha communications. Ships thought to be destroyed reappeared in unexpected places. Ships thought safe were suddenly under attack from directions the Alphas never expected. Chaos spread through the Alpha fleet, and they had no idea how to respond. Linda Morrow had discovered another way to fight. She designed a small device that could block the energy flow to Alpha weapons temporarily. Pilots carried these devices on their ships, and when activated, Alpha beams failed to fire. Entire squadrons froze in space, unable to defend themselves. Jack Harris watched the reports with a steady gaze. "They are not invincible," he said softly. "We are showing them the truth. We will survive this because we are smart, because we are united, and because we refuse to give up." Megan returned from a sortie, her ship slightly damaged but operational. "Captain, they are retreating from the outer rim," she shouted. "Their formation is breaking." Jack's eyes narrowed. "Good, that is what we want. Keep pushing. Hit their command ships. Confuse them. Make them doubt themselves." The Alpha fleet was in chaos. Ships that had once inspired fear now seemed lost and uncertain. Smaller Alpha commanders argued with one another, unsure of the orders. Ships collided accidentally, caught in their own confusion. The humans had turned their fear into a weapon against them. On the planet below, civilians watched the sky filled with explosions. They could not understand all the details of the battle, but they saw one truth clearly: humans were fighting back. People who had once been afraid now worked with courage. Farmers, engineers, and children helped in small ways, supporting the fleet and ensuring survival. Jack Harris looked at Megan, Kevin, and Linda. "We have survived the first attack. We have struck back. And we have shown them we are not weak. Tomorrow we continue. And tomorrow they will see humans are not just another species. We are something they cannot control." Megan smiled. "They are starting to fear us, Captain. I can see it in their patterns. They hesitate." Kevin nodded, and hesitation leads to mistakes. One mistake could cost them everything. Linda added, "We are learning faster than they are. They have underestimated us, and that is our greatest advantage." As the day ended, the humans prepared for the next round of attacks. They repaired ships, reinforced shields, and analyzed Alpha behavior. Each day was harder than the last, but each day also proved something. Humans were clever, brave, and united. They had no choice but to fight, and they had no intention of losing. Far above, in the midst of the wreckage of their own pride, Commander Zorak stared at the reports. He had never faced a species like this. The humans were not just surviving, they were changing the rules of battle. They were unpredictable, resourceful, and fearless. For the first time in the history of the Alpha species, failure seemed possible. "We have underestimated them," Zorak admitted quietly, though no one else on his bridge would dare speak the words aloud. "They are dangerous," and for the humans this was only the beginning. They had learned that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the greatest power in the galaxy. And they were ready to show the Alpha species that the world they thought weak could strike back in ways they never imagined. The war was far from over, but one truth had become clear. Humans would not just survive, they would fight. And when humans fought, even the strongest species could fall. The humans had survived the first attacks, and now they were no longer just defending. They were striking back with full force. Jack Harris stood on the bridge of the largest human ship, watching the Alpha fleet as it stretched across space. He had never seen anything so big, so powerful, and yet he did not feel fear. He felt determination. "Captain," Megan Clark said, pointing at the holomap, "we've located their command ships. They are clustered in the center. If we hit them, we can break their formation." Jack nodded. "Exactly, this is our chance. We strike smart, not strong, hit their brains, not their bodies. Confuse them, and we take control of the battle." Kevin Ross had been working overnight on small modifications to the weapon systems. "Captain," he said, "our new devices can send false readings to their sensors. They will think our ships are everywhere at once. They won't know where to aim." Linda Morrow added, "And I've mapped the weak points in their shields. We can bypass the strongest defenses if we attack at the right angle. This is not about brute force, it's about precision." Jack smiled. "Then precision it is. Let's show them what humans can do." The human ships moved out, small and fast, like shadows across the bright stars. The Alpha fleet noticed them immediately, opening fire with massive energy beams. The sky lit up with explosions. Human ships darted between the beams, vanishing and reappearing in ways the Alpha species could not predict. Megan led one of the first attacks. Her ship weaved through the fire, reaching the first Alpha command vessel. She activated the new device Kevin had designed. Instantly, the Alpha ship's sensors failed. It could not see her. It could not aim. Megan fired a series of precise shots at critical points, and sparks flew across the alien vessel. It staggered, and other Alpha ships nearby paused, confused by the sudden chaos. Jack watched in awe. "They are panicking," he said. "Keep the pressure on." Other human pilots followed Megan's lead. They attacked in unpredictable patterns, moving faster than the Alpha species could track. One human ship would appear in front of an Alpha destroyer, then vanish behind it, striking its engines. Another would hit communication arrays, leaving groups of Alpha ships blind and disorganized. On the Alpha flagship, Commander Zorak was furious. "What is happening?" he roared. "Our sensors are failing, our ships are falling apart. How can this be?" Vexil, his second-in-command, was pale. "Commander, they are not just surviving, they are attacking with intelligence. They are using our own systems against us. We cannot predict them." Zorak clicked his mandibles in frustration. "Impossible, no species has ever done this. They are weak, they cannot fight like this, yet they do, they are different." Back on New Hope, Jack's plan was working perfectly. The Alpha fleet was beginning to break apart. Command ships were damaged, some destroyed, others forced to retreat. Human engineers worked quickly, repairing ships that had been damaged, keeping the fleet moving. Megan smiled as she piloted her ship past a shattered Alpha vessel. "Captain, another command ship is exposed. If we hit it now, we can cause total confusion." Jack nodded. "Do it. Every ship that falls weakens their control. Keep striking." Kevin Ross had prepared a new device that could temporarily disable Alpha shields. Human pilots used it carefully, hitting shields at the right moment. One by one, Alpha vessels faltered, their weapons useless, their pilots panicked. The humans moved like shadows, invisible until it was too late. Linda Morrow monitored the battle from the command deck. "Captain, their fleet is breaking. Smaller Alpha ships are turning on each other by mistake. They cannot coordinate. They are confused and scared." Jack's eyes narrowed. "Good. Confusion is the first step toward victory. Keep going. We cannot stop now." The humans had learned to use every advantage. They attacked from unexpected directions, used false signals to mislead the enemy, and repaired their ships faster than the Alpha fleet could destroy them. Every small victory gave humans confidence. Every Alpha failure caused panic. On the Alpha flagship, Zorak struggled to maintain control. "They are not like any species we have faced," he said quietly. "They are relentless. Every attack, every movement is unexpected. We cannot fight like this, yet they are not many." "How can such weakness cause so much trouble?" Vexil looked grim. "Commander, they are learning. Every day they grow smarter. Every strike teaches them more about our systems. If this continues, we risk losing more than just ships. We could lose everything." Zorak clicked his mandibles again. "Then we must adapt. We cannot let them break us. We are the Alpha species. We have never been defeated. We will not be defeated by humans." But adaptation was slower than the humans' ingenuity. Jack and his team had already anticipated many of the Alpha strategies. They had learned to move in ways that the Alphas could not track, to strike in ways that the Alphas could not defend. Each loss the humans suffered taught them more, and they returned stronger. Megan led another attack, this time with a small squadron. They darted through space, striking at a weak point in the Alpha flagship. Kevin's devices disrupted the ship's sensors, Linda's calculations guided the attack, and Megan's skill made the strike precise. The Alpha flagship shuddered, systems failing, energy beams flickering and dying. On the bridge, Zorak's mandibles clicked faster than ever. "How can this be? They are destroying the impossible. They are not just surviving, they are winning." Vexil said quietly, "Commander, they are teaching us a lesson we have never learned. They are showing us that strength is not everything. Intelligence, courage, and unity, they are using those against us." Zorak could not speak. The Alpha fleet had never felt fear, and yet now it coursed through every ship. Panic spread like wildfire. Commanders argued, ships collided, and entire squadrons were lost to human attacks that seemed impossible. Meanwhile, Jack and his team did not celebrate. Every victory was a step toward survival, but they knew the Alpha species was still dangerous. "Keep moving," Jack said to Megan. "Every second we survive, we learn. Every strike we make, we weaken them. They may be strong, but they are not smarter than us." Megan grinned. "They are panicking, Captain. I can see it. Their formations are falling apart." Kevin nodded. "And the more they panic, the easier it is to strike critical points. We can hit their command ships one by one and break the fleet completely." Linda added, "We are not just surviving. We are controlling the battle now. Every move they make is predictable because they are reacting to us, not the other way around." Jack Harris looked at the stars and felt a surge of pride. Humans were small compared to the Alpha species. Their weapons were weaker, their ships smaller. But they had something that the Alphas did not understand: the will to survive, the courage to fight, and the intelligence to turn weakness into strength. The humans struck again and again. Each Alpha ship that fell caused confusion among the remaining vessels. Commanders were unable to coordinate. Sensors failed. Weapons misfired. Chaos spread, and the humans pressed forward. On the Alpha flagship, Zorak realized the truth. "They are not just surviving," he said. "They are teaching us. They are showing us a way of war we have never known. They are dangerous beyond measure." Vexil's eyes widened. "Commander, we may lose. Entire fleets could be destroyed if this continues. Humans, they are unlike any species we have faced." Zorak closed his eyes for a moment. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. Humans, a small, weak species in his eyes, were winning against the strongest power in the galaxy, and there was nothing he could do to stop them. Back on New Hope, Jack Harris watched as reports came in. Human ships were moving faster, striking smarter, and surviving better than ever. Megan returned from a mission, smiling as she reported the destruction of several Alpha ships. "Captain, they are falling apart." "We are doing it," Jack nodded. "Good, but stay focused. Every victory counts, but the fight is not over. We have shown them we are strong, but we have to keep proving it. The Alpha species will not give up easily." The humans continued their attacks late into the night. Each strike was precise, intelligent, and coordinated. Every time an Alpha ship fell, the humans learned something new. Every mistake the Alphas made became a tool for human survival. By the end of the third day, the Alpha fleet was no longer an unstoppable force. Ships were destroyed or disabled, formations were broken, and command structures were failing. The humans had not only survived, they had taken the fight to the enemy. Jack Harris looked at his team and smiled. This is only the beginning. They thought they were Alpha. They thought nothing could challenge them, but we are humans. We fight, we adapt, and we survive, and we are just getting started. For the Alpha species, the word fear had entered their language for the first time. They had seen strength, speed, and technology, but humans had something greater: intelligence, courage, and unity. Something the Alphas could not destroy, no matter how powerful they were. And in the hearts of humans, a fire burned brighter than any weapon. They would not stop. They would not surrender. They would fight, and they would win, even against the mightiest force in the galaxy. The war was far from over, but one truth had become clear. Humans had shown the first cracks in the armor of the Alpha species, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Alpha fleet was in chaos. Ships that had once inspired fear now drifted in space, damaged and confused. Commanders barked orders, but their ships failed to respond. Sensors flickered, weapons misfired, and formations collapsed. The humans had done the impossible. They had turned the strongest force in the galaxy into a disorganized mess. Jack Harris watched the reports from the command deck. His heart pounded with determination. "This is it," he said to Megan Clark, who stood beside him. "We can finish this if we stay smart and focused. Hit the command ships, confuse the rest, and take control of the battle completely." Megan nodded. "Captain, the Alpha fleet is breaking into smaller groups. Many ships are already without leadership. If we strike now, their panic will spread faster than we imagined." Kevin Ross adjusted his instruments. "Captain, our new devices can send stronger false readings now. Entire squadrons will think human ships are everywhere at once. It will make them hesitate, maybe even retreat." Linda Morrow pointed at the holomap. "And I've found weak points in the remaining Alpha shields. We can disable their weapons for short bursts, giving us critical moments to attack command centers directly." Jack smiled. "Then let's make history." The humans moved out. Ships darted from the shadows, striking at the Alpha fleet with precision. Energy pulses scrambled sensors, weapons froze, and Alpha ships collided with one another in confusion. Human pilots worked in perfect coordination. Every movement, every attack was calculated and clever. Megan led a small squadron to strike the Alpha flagship. Kevin's devices sent false signals, making the flagship's sensors fail completely. Linda's calculations guided Megan through weak points in the shields. Megan fired precise shots that disabled weapons and engines. Sparks flew across the alien ship, and the flagship staggered. Its energy beams flickered and died, leaving other Alpha ships exposed and vulnerable. On the Alpha flagship, Commander Zorak screamed in frustration. "What is happening? Our ships, they are falling apart." They are not just surviving, they are attacking and winning. Vexil looked at the reports in horror. Commander, they are striking with intelligence, not force. Our weapons are useless. Their ships are everywhere at once. Our fleet is losing cohesion. Zorak clicked his mandibles sharply. Impossible. No species has ever survived against us. And yet, these humans are doing it. They are clever, fast, and fearless. We are losing. Meanwhile, Jack Harris coordinated the human fleet. Focus on the command ships first. Once they are down, the rest will follow. Keep the civilians safe, but strike relentlessly. They cannot win if we control their leaders. Megan returned from her sortie. Captain, the flagship is staggering. The other Alpha ships are confused. They don't know where to go. Jack nodded. Good, push harder, hit every weak point, make them question everything they know. Kevin Ross activated a stronger energy pulse device. The pulse sent shockwaves across multiple Alpha ships, disabling weapons temporarily. Dozens of ships froze in space, helpless. Linda's calculations guided human pilots to attack these frozen targets. One by one, Alpha ships fell, drifting like wrecks through the void. The Alpha fleet began to panic. Commanders shouted orders, but their ships did not respond. Sensors flickered. Communications failed. Every human strike increased confusion and fear. For the first time, the Alpha species felt helpless. Jack Harris watched the chaos unfold. We are winning because we are smart, not because we are stronger. Intelligence and teamwork will always beat arrogance and power when used correctly. Megan smiled as she piloted her ship past a group of disabled Alpha vessels. Captain, they are losing control completely. This is amazing. Kevin Ross checked the reports. Captain, their command ships are exposed. If we hit them now, the Alpha fleet could collapse entirely. Linda added, and their pilots are terrified. They are panicking. Many don't know what to do. We can control the rest of the battle from here. Jack Harris made his decision. Then we hit them all at once. Full strike on the command ships. Every pilot, every ship, every device we have. This ends today. The humans moved in perfect coordination. Small ships darted between massive Alpha vessels, striking critical systems. Energy pulses scrambled sensors. False signals caused entire squadrons to believe human ships were everywhere. Command ships were attacked simultaneously from multiple angles, disabling weapons, engines, and shields. On the Alpha flagship, Zorak's mandibles clicked in panic. They are everywhere. We cannot defend our ships. They are falling. Vexil looked at him pale. Commander, the humans are not just fighting. They are controlling the battlefield. Entire squadrons are frozen. Commanders are unsure. We are losing. Zorak could not speak. He had never experienced fear, never faced failure. And now humans, a species he had considered weak, were defeating him and his fleet. On the human side, Jack Harris and Megan Clark coordinated strikes with precision. Kevin and Linda guided pilots through weak points and scrambled enemy sensors. Every attack brought more Alpha ships down. Every command ship that fell caused panic to spread further. Megan smiled as she saw another Alpha flagship crippled. Captain, they are collapsing. Their fleet is falling apart? Jack nodded. Keep going, hit every remaining command center, make them regret underestimating humans. They thought they were Alpha untouchable. Now they will see the truth. The humans struck with relentless determination. Ships moved in unpredictable patterns, attacking weak points, disabling weapons, and creating confusion. The Alpha fleet tried to regroup, but their command centers were gone or disabled. Chaos spread across the entire formation. Zorak realized the truth too late. We are losing everything, he whispered. His fleet was falling apart. Ships collided, weapons misfired, and entire squadrons surrendered in panic. The humans had done what no species had ever done. They had broken the Alpha fleet. Jack Harris watched the reports with a calm determination. This is what happens when arrogance meets intelligence and courage. They thought strength alone could rule the galaxy. We have shown them that strength is nothing without skill, teamwork, and will. Megan returned from another sortie. Captain, their remaining ships are fleeing. They have no organization, no control. We've won. Jack nodded. Not yet. We must make sure they cannot regroup. Target the remaining command ships. Every Alpha vessel we destroy now is one less they can use to strike back later. Kevin Ross activated the final pulse devices. Alpha ships froze in space as energy pulses disabled weapons and shields. Linda guided human pilots to strike critical points. One by one, Alpha command ships were destroyed. The Alpha fleet was in ruins, ships drifted, burning, and disabled. Commanders were captured or fleeing. Their power, their pride, their belief in being untouchable, all shattered. Zorak stared at the reports, speechless. How can this be? Humans, they are impossible. Vexil shook his head. Commander, they are not impossible. They are human. They fight, they adapt, they survive. They are not like any species we have faced. We cannot compete with their ingenuity. Jack Harris watched the final reports come in. The battle was over. The Alpha fleet was broken. Humans had not only survived, they had won decisively. They had turned the strongest species in the galaxy into ruins. Megan Clark smiled. Captain, we did it. They are gone. Jack nodded slowly. Yes, Megan, they are gone, and the galaxy will never forget that humans can fight, adapt, and survive even against the strongest. On New Hope, civilians cheered as reports confirmed the victory. Ships returned from sorties, damaged but alive. Engineers repaired the remaining fleet. Scientists analyzed the battlefield. Everyone felt the same thing. Humans had done the impossible. Kevin Ross looked at Jack. Captain, they called themselves Alpha, the strongest in the galaxy, and we destroyed them. Jack smiled. We did not destroy them with strength. We destroyed them with intelligence, courage, and unity. That is what makes humans different. That is what makes us strong. Linda Morrow nodded. They underestimated us. They thought size and power were everything. We showed them that thinking, adapting, and fighting together are stronger than anything. As the humans celebrated quietly, Jack looked at the stars. This is only the beginning. Other species will hear of this victory. They will learn that humans are not weak. We survive, we adapt, and we fight like no one else. And we will continue to protect our home, our people, and our place in the galaxy. Far away, the remnants of the Alpha fleet fled. Their pride destroyed, their power shattered, they knew the humans were not to be underestimated. The galaxy had changed forever. Humans were no longer a small, weak species. They were survivors, fighters, and conquerors of impossible odds. And for the first time, the word Alpha no longer belonged to them. The galaxy had never seen humans fight like this before. The Alpha fleet, once considered untouchable, had been shattered, broken, and humiliated. Ships drifted in space, weapons destroyed, systems offline. Commanders were captured or fleeing. The Alpha species had been reduced from rulers of countless worlds to nothing more than a scattered memory. Jack Harris stood on the bridge of the largest human ship, watching the remnants of the enemy fleet. He felt no triumph in the usual sense. This was not about pride or glory. This was about survival, about showing that humans could stand against the strongest force in the galaxy and win. Megan Clark approached him, her uniform smudged with smoke and dust from repeated sorties. Captain, she said softly, the Alpha remnants are retreating. They're trying to escape, but there's nowhere safe for them. Every jump point, every system is being monitored. Jack nodded. Good, they underestimated humans from the start. They thought we were weak, slow, and foolish, but they were wrong, very wrong. Kevin Ross joined them carrying a small device. Captain, I've been analyzing the Alpha fleet's remaining technology. There's a way to permanently disable their jump drives and warp cores. If we act now, we can erase their ability to regroup entirely. No recovery, no return. They won't be able to challenge us again. Linda Morrow stepped forward, her face serious. It's dangerous. The energy required could damage our own systems if we're not careful. But it's possible. We can end this war completely. Jack looked at his team. Megan, Kevin, and Linda had been with him since the first day of the Alpha attack. They had fought, survived, and adapted together. Then we do it, he said firmly. We finish this for our people, for our planet, and for the galaxy. They must never threaten anyone again. The human fleet prepared. Small ships moved quickly, weaving through debris and disabled Alpha vessels. Engineers worked tirelessly to power up the devices Kevin had prepared. Scientists monitored energy flows, ensuring no human ships would be harmed. Every pilot, every crew member knew their role. Megan led the first strike team, her ship moving silently through space. She activated the pulse devices, targeting the Alpha fleet's remaining jump drives. Sparks erupted across the enemy ships, engines failing one by one. Command centers froze as the energy flow to weapons and systems faltered. The Alpha species could not escape, could not fight back. Jack watched the reports. Good, keep going, target every ship, every core, make sure nothing survives to threaten the galaxy again. Kevin Ross adjusted the energy flows. Captain, the cores are fragile. One wrong move and they could explode. We have to be precise. Linda nodded. We are precise. Trust the calculations. Every step is controlled. No mistakes. Megan smiled grimly. They thought they were Alpha. They thought nothing could stop them. They were wrong. Completely wrong. One by one, the Alpha ships were disabled. Jump drives melted, weapons failed, and communication systems went dark. Pilots who had once been proud and arrogant now floated helpless, unable to move or respond. Entire fleets vanished from the galaxy, erased from power, influence, and existence. On the Alpha flagship, Commander Zorak realized the truth. We cannot fight. We cannot escape. We are finished. Vexil shook his head, pale and silent. There was no hope, no way forward. The humans had done what no species had ever done. They had erased the Alpha fleet from reality. Pride, arrogance, and power meant nothing against human intelligence, courage, and unity. Jack Harris gave the final order. Activate the last sequence. Finish the job. Make sure nothing remains to threaten the galaxy again. Kevin pressed the controls. Energy flowed through the Alpha fleet's remaining systems. Sparks erupted, lights flickered, and one by one, ships disappeared. Systems failed completely. Engines, weapons, shields, all gone. The galaxy had never seen such a total victory before. Megan watched the holomap as the last Alpha ship disappeared. Captain, it's over. They're gone. Jack nodded slowly. Yes, Megan, they are gone, and the galaxy will remember one truth forever. Humans do not surrender. Humans adapt, humans survive, and humans can defeat the strongest force the galaxy has ever known. On New Hope, people cheered as reports came in. Ships returned from sorties, damaged but alive. Engineers and scientists repaired the fleet. Civilians celebrated not just survival but victory. Humans had done the impossible. They had faced a species that considered itself Alpha, untouchable, and had obliterated them from existence. Kevin Ross smiled, exhausted but proud. Captain, they called themselves rulers of the galaxy, and now there's no Alpha fleet left, no threat. Humanity has survived and won. Linda Morrow nodded. We did it together. Intelligence, courage, and unity beat arrogance and power. That is why humans are strong. Jack Harris looked at his crew, his friends, his people. Remember this day, he said softly. Remember that we survived the impossible. Remember that humans can stand against anyone, no matter how strong, and win. This is our legacy. And we will carry it forward into every corner of the galaxy. Megan Clark approached him, smiling. Captain, what happens now? Jack thought for a moment. Now we rebuild, we protect the galaxy, and we make sure that no one ever underestimates humans again. They thought they were Alpha, they thought they were untouchable, they were wrong, and now they are nothing. In the vastness of space, the remnants of the Alpha species drifted as powerless wrecks. Entire fleets had vanished, their pride and influence erased. For the first time in history, the strongest species in the galaxy had been defeated completely. Across human worlds, celebrations began. People cheered for their survival, for their courage, and for the incredible victories of their fleets. Stories would be told for generations of how a small, underestimated species fought back against an empire and won against all odds. Jack Harris stood on the bridge, looking at the stars. He thought of Megan, Kevin, Linda, and every person who had fought. He thought of the humans who had refused to give up, even in the face of a seemingly unstoppable force. He knew one truth: humans were not just survivors. Humans were a force the galaxy would never forget. Far away in the ruins of the Alpha Empire, silence spread. The species that had called themselves Alpha had vanished from reality. Their fleets, their pride, and their legends were gone. No one would rise from their ashes to challenge humanity again. The galaxy had witnessed something new, the unstoppable determination and power of humans united in courage and intelligence. Jack Harris turned to his crew. We did what no one else could. We have erased the strongest force from the galaxy, but this is not the end. Humanity will continue to grow, to explore, and to protect. The galaxy will remember this day forever, and it will remember who we are. Megan smiled. Humans are unstoppable, Captain. They never expected us to fight like this, and now, no one ever will. Kevin Ross laughed quietly. They thought they ruled the galaxy. They thought they were Alpha. They were wrong, completely wrong. Linda Morrow nodded. We have shown the galaxy the truth. Humans survive, humans adapt, humans win. Jack looked out at the stars, silent for a moment. Then he spoke, softly but firmly. The Alpha species is gone, humanity remains, and we will never be underestimated again. In every corner of the galaxy, a new era began. The species that had once been untouchable no longer existed. And humanity, united by courage, intelligence, and determination, had claimed its place among the stars. The galaxy would never forget the day humans faced the strongest force in existence and obliterated them from reality. Humans had won. The alpha species had been erased, and the universe had changed forever.